best prospects from the state they've ever seen. What do you see from him?
When you say athlete, I think that's what, he's the true guy that you would put on your board that's an athlete, can play a lot of positions, It's like with all of these guys, you find out about your recruiting class in 2 years. But you are really excited about the prospects that we have. But Lynn, obviously, for sure. You can put him at Wildcat, he can be a receiver, he can be a running back. And I think you got to find ways to put him in different positions.
Yeah, Eddie, you've got to be salivating at all these different schemes that you're going to be able to draw up. Can you talk specifically about the slot wide receiver and maybe us seeing some of the things that we haven't seen in a little while here?
Well, I think we started out that way. If you look at the offense and what we did throwing the ball down the field in the first game and to the last couple games, more so the Louisville game, I think the vertical passing game and being able to stretch the field, I think, is important. We were pretty good at yards per attempt and some things in the passing game that, I think with these guys you're able to do. In that being said, you got to continue to get better at the quarterback position. You got to continue to get better at the receiver position, and we had to change so early because of what happened to our quarterback. So I don't think you're going to see a bunch of different schemes, but we're certainly going to have to find ways formationally maybe to get these guys the ball.
I think we got a bunch of kids that have potential to be difference makers. I mean, you go from Quentin Bohannon. I think Big Bo's got a chance to be a big-time player. You go all the way. Josh Paschal's got a big upside. I mean, Jamin Davis is already here. All those kids, I think, have potential to be really, really good players, and we're excited about all of them.
What do you like about Eastern Corcoran when you took out of Georgia?
Just how competitive he is. He's a football nut now. He's constantly watching it on his phone. He's working out all the time on his own. He's really a football junkie. And he comes from a basketball family, and he became a football player. His mother and his father both played college basketball.
And everything, and now to get to this point, you just seem so grateful for that. What does it like to have kind of a guy like that kind of made it here?
Well, when you have a young man who wasn't sure what he was going to eat every day or every other day in junior college, and his coach did a great job of getting him to where he is. You get him here, and he's got a lot of things laid out for him, structured out for him. It's kind of a relief for him, because he sees that, all his hard work is paid off to this point. But now he understands, it's time to get going now. It's time to do well in school, don't get behind in school, but on the gridiron, do a great job and bring those things, those qualities we just talked about, his hunger, his humbleness, his ability to compete, bring those to the ball.
Is that one of the more gratifying parts of the recruiting process when you're able to give a guy like that a chance to really do something?
Definitely. My wife, when you recruit, your family's involved, everybody's involved. And, my wife and I, we got close to Lonnie and his mom, Nora. And, it's just, we feel really good that he has an opportunity to really showcase his talents. And he's been through so much, And I think because he's been through so much, he's ready to show everybody what he's about.
He called you and Coach Marrow both kind of father figures. How much is it this building a family environment in recruiting?
Well, I think it's huge. I tell the players all the time, when we're recruiting them, we have great facilities, we have great academics here, we have great president, great athletic director, a super duper coach, but at the end of the day, it's the relationships with the players as well as the coach that brings that family together. We have a young man, like we just mentioned, Lonnie Johnson, who come from a program where he played for 2 years and kind of set out this past year, his little journey. It's good to come back and be with the family. It's good to see that you got brothers to the right of you, to the left of you, that's going to help you through your journey.
When you're recruiting, kind of guys that are athletes, what's the struggle between the staff? Like, is he going to be a wide receiver? Is he going to be in the secondary?
We identify, a little early on, what position, what our need is, where we want to place those guys. We have no problem, myself in particular. If I have a young man that's playing well, but he may be able to get a little more playing time or help us as a team in another position, we're all for it. If it's a receiver coming to defensive back, a defensive back going to receiver, if it's going to help this team be an SEC champion, we're going to do whatever's best for the program.
Just to have those guys you know, Phil Hoskins, big, long kid, you know, 280, 290 pounds, can rush the passer, play nose, play in. Then, you know, you got Pascal, who can play multiple positions. You know, Quentin Bohanna, who can lock it down inside. I mean, it's nice to have that many guys.
I say this with a smile. So these kids are making you a smarter coach.
Making me a better coach. You know what I mean? It makes me look better out there on the field. You know what I mean? So, but you know, like I say, I'm excited to have them.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's a good answer.
Yeah, you parsed them words. You parsed them, didn't you? Also talk about I think Coach Stoops might mention this Watkins kid.
Who's that now?
Watkins.
Watkins.
Didn't you have a Watkins in your defensive line?
No, we had Whitaker.
Whitaker. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, Whitaker.
Whitaker, yeah.
Oh
My bad.
man, that kid he reminds me of Corey Johnson. The twitch, the athleticism.
Twitch, yeah.
He's more athletic than what Corey is, I think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But he's got that same body size. You know, he's about 260 right now, and you know, we took TJ Carter last year, and he was 254. Now he's 280. You know, I mean, sometimes those guys just develop. You'd rather take a guy who's smaller and quicker than to have a big guy that can't really move, you know.
Y'all seem to be having so much, quite a bit of luck with your last guys in the class. You know, like T.J. Carter Abule and all.
Abule, yeah.
And also back to Reggie Miller, where he's gone, but anyway, he was a late guy too.
Yeah.
Talk about how do you guys find these guys?
Well, you know, what you got to do is you got to really watch the film, evaluate them, go watch them, and look at their growth potential. You know, because a lot of times, and I go back to this, man. I was a 3-star guy coming out of Florida, and you know, I was from a little old small town, and you really had to go to my town to really come see me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so you had to really drive to see me, because I wasn't one of those Jacksonville, I wasn't Orlando, I wasn't Miami. You know, where those guys can fly in, stop, go within an hour radius. You got to ride 3 hours from my house. And so what I do is I really go and look for those guys in those areas that can really help us, because I know they're there.
Right.
And sometimes a guy may tell me something, I may go out there, and he may not be good enough. But at least I went out there to see him, and I can say, no, he's not good enough. You know, and sometimes I find really good ones.
So the guys that scout, they miss them just like they do in basketball.
Everybody misses something. You know, you just got to keep grinding away on it.
James Vince was saying, I mean, you got 6 or 7 guys, but let's say some of those guys play in, some can play 3 technique, they can play different ways. How important is that this day and time to get guys who are flexible when you're trying to build depth on a defensive line?
It really is. You know, you take structured bodies and hope they make certain spots for you, but then they have growth potential to be able to move and do different things. And you know, like I say, Za'Darius came in and played a 4 technique for us here. Now he's playing outside linebacker in the National Football League. So, you know, guys can play different spots. You know, Farrington Huguenin is actually played a 4. Now he's playing outside linebacker in the NFL. So, you know, the things and the qualities that they learn to have the ability to be able to move to different spots really helps us.
So you think you got versatile guys in this group
Oh, yeah.
with growth potential?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got an athletic bunch of guys.
Coach, depth was a concern last year. How important was that to address the guys with, like you mentioned, the versatility? How important is it to address the depth with versatile guys as opposed to guys who could just stick to like a 3 technique, stuff like that?
Well, you know, here's a big thing that helps us. You know, last year, like you say, we lost 4 the previous year. This year we lose 1, and that's really going to help us because a lot of those guys that are in the room understand what we need to do to be good. You know what I mean? So they understand the schematics of things, and now these new guys coming in can help us, you know, give us some depth in those spots behind those guys. And like you say, now we have an opportunity where we can build.
How important was it to get a guy like Pascal out on the East Coast? I mean, you guys tend to stick to Ohio and Florida and all those areas, but how important was it to go out there and get him, who's a big-time rusher with, I believe, Notre Dame, Penn State, schools like that? How important was it to just beat out those top programs?
It really was good, you know, having the ability to be able to take a guy like that who's very talented and have him be able to come in here and give you, because like I say, he can play multiple positions, and he gives you the speed off that ball. You know what I mean? Do a lot of different things.
All right, thanks, coach.
Uh-huh.
We're going to give them an opportunity to play offense, because that's what they can do. But they also have the build to play whatever they want to play. And that's a great thing about it. You got kids like that you want to put them on the field and do so because they're athletic.
Is there anybody that Bowden reminds you of? Some of the high school coaches in Ohio say, you know, he's one of the best they've ever seen.
Yeah, he's really good. Watching this film, you just sit back, your mouth drops, and you say, wow, I can't wait to coach that guy.
Not one of the compact guy when they be on steroids.
Yeah. Randy Cobb is a very special player. If he can get up to 3/4 of that, maybe all of it will be happy around him.
That's a lubricant for Cobb to be.
Oh yeah, if we can get Randall Cobb, we doing pretty good. I think the kid is special. It's like that whole group. I really think a lot of this group, and can't wait to get the opportunity to coach.
How important will it be next year to have a good? You have a lot of guys coming back. How important will it be to have that good mix of young and old, especially in your position group?
Oh, it's great to have a good mixture of young and old, because you know, with that being said, the older guys feel a sense of entitlement in their leaders, and they have to understand the younger guys are going to be watching them. But at the same time, those younger guys, they're going to be hungry, and I'm gonna get them going and say, hey, you know, those older guys are a little nervous with you, and I'm gonna tell the older guys, hey man, you know, those young guys, they coming. So, you know, it's going to be a good mixture in the room. I think the most important thing, the competition will be there, and the accountability to do right on and off the field is going to make a big difference in that room of how much playing time you get.